Okay, so here's the inside shot. I pretty much have a gravel floor, and then that's just a threshold piece of 2x4 I threw on the ground. All my stuff is pine. It's not pressure treated. I don't expect to have this greenhouse here for very long, so I didn't build it out of pressure treat or anything like that. The pine, the Doug fir, whatever it is at Home Depot, it'll last long enough, you know, to get what I need out of it. So, in any case, I do have a what do they call this? A polyfloor. It's a polyfloor mat I got from one of the greenhouse supply stores. It was pretty cheap. It fits all the way across my greenhouse, and basically I just use it to keep that I control dust, and I get more reflection out of this white floor cloth. So I'm trying to get the most amount of reflection I can out of this whole thing. Let's see, it's going there. So what I did with these hoops, I just got it's a 2x6 batter board, and this is gray PVC conduit from Home Depot. It's cheaper than white PVC, and it's stronger. It's Schedule 40. And what I did was I buried a 5-foot piece of rebar into the ground, or post hole big. I jammed it in the ground with one of those the T-post drivers, about a foot, and so it's sticking up 4 feet. And so what I did was it keeps the PVC straight for about 4.5 feet, which gives me a lot more vertical side clearance instead of having it come in on me right away, which is kind of a negative on a hoop house. So that helps me keep these things really straight. And I want to say it's about 4.5 feet before it starts to bend. I used 3 pieces, and then I just cut a couple feet off the end to get exactly what I wanted for the total distance around. But anyway, there's 6 hoops in this one at 20 feet long. I spaced them 4 feet apart. And so that got me what I want. And then I just put a 2-hole strap on the end, screwed it in, and it's very, very secure. I did not anchor the batter board down because it's not going anywhere. Between the rebar and the 2-hole strap and the PVC and everything that's going on, and then the 2 end posts, it ain't going anywhere. So anyways, that's what I got here. You can see as you walk down to the end, my ends are single wall, but my middles are double wall. You can kind of see here it's kind of bowing out, so I've got about anywhere from 3 to, I think this end is almost 8 inches of separation, and that gives me a fairly good R value. I don't think it only increases by 5 on the R value scale, but in any case, my greenhouse is far from perfect. You know, it's a little bit out of square, it's a little bit out of plumb, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to make it perfect. Like I said, I'm not going to keep it very long. I just mounted my 2 exhaust fans up on the end right there. You can kind of hear them. They're just they're 12-volt radiator fans. They're supposed to move about 1,100 cubic feet per minute each at full RPM. I don't max them out at full RPM, but they do a pretty good job. Ultimately, the goal is to take the greenhouse and convert it to 100% solar, so that I don't have to use any energy, because the system that I use in here, that I'm starting to use in here to grow, requires power and stuff like that. So it should, by the time I get done with it, getting it all set up, everything will be solar, including any additional lights, all the fans, everything required to run this greenhouse will come off of a larger RV solar type system. Once I get it all set up, I'll take a final reading on it and size my system accordingly. But the nice thing about the 12-volt fans is I don't have to use standard 120-volt wiring. I can just use 2-wire control cabling, which is rated for that wiring class, and so I can run them both off of small wires, which makes it a lot less stress on my system. It's cheaper and easy to run, and I can just make quick connects like that, and if I want to take them offline. And you see, you might be able to see 2 wires coming down. Those fans are not individually controlled anymore. They are combined under one of those runs. I have a spare run now because I took them off separate controls, and I'll show you later on my controller, but they both run at the same speed. So anyways, you can see that I have just a floor flange there, and then I got EMT across the ceiling. I got 1 coupling in the middle, which you can't see because I've got my insulation over my supply lines, and then same thing down at this end. I've got a floor flange there. It's 1-inch EMT, which is 1 3/8" outer diameter, which is pretty strong. So coupled with the hoops and everything else, it's pretty strong. I use greenhouse purlin straps. They're hard to see again because that, but it loops over my purlin and then clamps around the post, the hoop, and it makes a pretty strong structure. So all in all, the structure's pretty strong for being made out of flimsy material. My door, I just dropped a 2x4 down the other side. and to my door width, and I just roughed in this this little screen door thing. It works really, really good. So far I like it. Again, it's only been up and running for the past 3 months, but so far so good. I have room over here to add in additional intakes if I want to. I think in the summertime I might build this into a cooling wall. I'm not real sure, but that's my intake fan. It's kind of a mess right now. I've got extension cords kind of running everything, but same fan. I got them on Amazon, I think, or eBay, one of the two. I got 2 fans for like 40 bucks, and so that was a good deal. And so now I've got 3 of these fans. The first one I paid $40 for one fan. The 2 that you saw up there, my exhaust fans, were a pair. They were 40 bucks for the pair. Again, it's all 12 volt DC fans. You can see that timer right there. That's the timer that runs that runs the irrigation, the water control. It comes on, you hear it come on every minute and a half, and it stays on for about 15 seconds. And I'll kind of run through that since it's a little bit too. But in any case, so I put it on Unistrut up here. I just ran that up there. You can see here my temperature sensors are hanging down right there. I've got a 12 volt DC power supply. It's 200 watts. It takes 110 volts in and puts out 200 watts DC 12 volts out. And from there you can see I've got it, I've got that plugged into this, it's called a kilowatt. And I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but it tells me how many watts I'm using, so that I just have it plugged into that controller that I built, so I don't exceed 200 watts. It's just for the fans. That controller just does the fans. So I just keep an eye on that. I have it dialed down pretty good. I can crank those fans way up, but I don't want to really push the power supply past 80% really. I don't want to overheat it. In any case, so I've got the power supply. I would take it apart and show you, but it's got a lot of wiring inside. I don't feel like stuffing it back together. But essentially I bought these parts on eBay. Bought the 12 volt or the 12 volt power supply on eBay. The temperature thermostats I bought on eBay. The speed controllers, all the knobs on the right. I bought all this stuff on eBay except for the plastic box. I bought that at Home Depot. It's cheap. And then I have a little Fry's Electronics computer fan plugged into it. So what happens was every time fan 1 comes on, which is my lowest temperature setting, that computer fan comes on to cool down the box, so I don't have any overrunning on heat. It's always tied into the lowest setting. So no matter what, if there's a fan running, that fan runs. Fan 2 is set at a higher temperature. Fan 2 does the intake fan. So I can draw cool air in with my 2 upper fans and through my door. But if I really want to pull cool air in, or if it really starts to get hot, what I do is I have this one set to, I want to say have it set to 80 degrees. So it starts coming on at 80 degrees, whereas the exhaust fans come on at 73 degrees. Just start pulling in cool air and exchange the air in here. It's no matter what happens, the fans, they're automatic, so they come on all the time. Let's see, speed controllers, I can, let's see, they're right here. You can crank them up pretty good. I don't know if you can hear the fan. I keep them set about here right now. I know they're flashing, you can't really tell. These little temperature sensors were cheap. They were, I don't know, 14 bucks each. If you know a little bit of electrical, you just wire them right in. It's low voltage. I think you can hear my system just clicked on. Really easy to install, really easy to program. The instructions are terrible, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy. And then again, you can see I just have those 2 small cables running up and over and around. They run out to my fans at the top, and then I've got a small cable running for this fan down there. Again, these are my temperature sensors. I have them labeled so I know which one is which. So fan 2, if I pull up fan 2 right here, I'll grab this one, I'll hold on to it. The temperature should run up, there it goes. Now this fan is on, so we can max that fan out. If I really want to, I can pump a ton of air into here, but I keep it set to about the same as the other ones. Right down to there, it'll click off and it drops down. Real quick, it jumped up to 85 degrees with just my fingers on it, so I can test my system or run it, things like that. So again, it's an experimental system. I'm just playing around with it. I'm an electrician, so I like to mess around with this kind of stuff. And then this hose right here is for my inflation system. It's got a small, very low amp fan. It's then plugged into an electrical cord. It's it inflates the system pretty darn good. I mean, it's pretty solid. I've sealed all the leaks in this thing pretty good, but it thing runs really good. It uses I want to say it uses 30 watts of energy or something like that. It's like a 1/16 horsepower or something like that fan. I got it at one of the greenhouse supply stores. I'll try to put it in the video, but it's pretty awesome.